This is a 70-year-old former pastor. He is living with stage 4 lung cancer that has already metastasized to his spine. He spent his career building 3 different churches and serving his community. Yet in this hospital room, he is a man of stone. He is distant, defensive, and avoids eye contact with anyone who tries to help. His physical state is dire. He cannot walk without a heavy, rigid brace, and he seems to have moved past fighting the pain, settling instead into a quiet, resigned exhaustion. On paper, this is a standard case of aggressive late-stage cancer, but the clinical details don't account for his demeanor, leading his care team to wonder if they are seeing the physical outcome of an emotional wound inflicted 60 years ago. Some diseases are impossible to treat without first excavating the patient's buried history. The pastor's silence only ended when he met a counselor who practiced radical, empathetic listening. In those sessions, he finally began to describe the childhood he had spent a lifetime suppressing. He grew up in the mountains of Gangwon-do during a period of extreme poverty. His father was frequently in debt, and his earliest memories were of debt collectors violently pounding on their door at dawn. To keep the family from starving, his mother worked without rest. To survive the stress, she shut down emotionally, strictly forbidding her children from crying or complaining. In her world, emotional needs were a luxury that could lead to the family's collapse. As the eldest son, he spent his youth gathering firewood to sell for a single meal, never knowing the safety of parental protection or the simple joy of being a child. This is the inner child in survival mode, an identity built entirely on responsibility with zero emotional intake. When a child is forced to aggressively silence their own needs for decades, that psychological pressure doesn't just disappear. The body eventually has to shoulder the weight. Eastern medicine suggests specific organs process specific emotions. The lung meridian is the primary pathway for sadness. We see this in comedian Lee Ju-il, whose unresolvable grief after his son's death physically damaged his lungs' energy pathways, catalyzing his cancer. Under this framework, the pastor's cancer is a subconscious strategy, a way to finally secure the unconditional care he was denied as a boy. This is secondary gain. By becoming completely helpless, he forced the world to treat him with the tenderness usually reserved for a child. Chronic illness can function as the body's final way of demanding that a starved emotional need be met. In therapy, the counselor gave the pastor something he had never experienced: undivided, non-judgmental attention. For the first time, his internal needs were being met without him having to earn them through labor. The change in his personality was immediate. The cold, rigid man began to joke with the nurses, his face taking on the expression of a mischievous young boy. This emotional shift was paired with a rigorous integrated treatment plan: autonomic nerve regulation, constant physical activity, and spiritual meditation. When the next scans arrived, the results were startling. The bone metastases were entirely gone, and the primary lung tumor had significantly regressed. This case suggests that a patient's immune system exists within a family ecosystem. Our internal defenses are highly reactive to the emotional stability and support provided by those closest to us. This is why tools like nonviolent communication are so vital in a hospital setting. By resolving family misunderstandings and avoiding the stress of conflict, we prevent the sudden drops in immunity that often lead to a patient crashing. Medicine treats the cells, but survival often depends on the soul. To truly heal, we must stop suffering in isolation and create the emotionally safe connections that our bodies have been craving since childhood.